at 158 naira to the dollar. It's even worse than what we thought in terms of its breaching the target range. How do you explain what we're seeing?
Hi, Lerato. Thanks for having me. I guess at a certain point in time, you have the effect of demand and supply coming into play on prices, and at that point in time, even though you have some form of corridor on the exchange rate, I guess the forces of demand and supply tend to negate that, albeit maybe temporarily, and that's what we're seeing in the currency front. Looking at the start for the three trading days now, you're seeing Naira lose a whopping 1 percentage point from the start of trading for this week, well, overall, I just think we might attain a new stability level of 157, 158 for the time being.
All right, so you're saying that it's still a temporary issue, it's an aberration. Some people say no, for as long as government spending is as high as it is, and we're not really certain what's going to happen to oil prices, this is going to be a situation that plays itself out.
Lerato, I would look at all those factors and I would tend to say, yes, these are factors that affect in some form or other the prices of the foreign exchange in a local market. Oil prices, yes, very key. We're seeing it dipping below $80 briefly, stabilizing around $80–90 for now. Government spending, yes, comes in as a factor, like demand and supply, risk aversion. All these are factors that come into tending to affect the price of a currency at any point in time. And you look at when there's sentiment improvement, when the prices of the oil turn, when there's no much hurry into a flight for safety, you begin to find some form of stability in this. We would not forget the fact that the central bank overall objective is to maintain price stability on the foreign exchange currency, on the naira against the dollar. And to a large extent, if you look at minutes of their meetings for over a period of time, that has been largely been achieved, and that on the back of that will continue to play out. That we'll see some form of stability. Albeit we might see some form of stability at these new levels, but overall the theme of the central bank and governor looking at price stability, I think that will continue to play out.
Let's continue on that theme. The MPR raised to 9.25%, and experts saying by hiking interest rates, the CBN is doing just that, trying to give some support to a naira. We've also seen much better inflation figures, and yet we continue to see this trend of depreciation. So effectively, what policy options are available here?
Policy options, well, I think they will continue to evolve and continue to respond as the situation warrants. I think the CBN, on the back of the rate hike, I think they had clearly stated out, stipulated what their expectation was in terms of money supply and in terms of overall credit to the economy and in terms of other inflation indices, for which, of course, they actually moved into the rate hike mode. Not undermining the fact that we're seeing consistent rate hike over the period for all the MPCs, and in a way in the boost to support the currency. But Lerato, we must consider that at certain point in time, when certain things happen in terms of oil prices, in terms of global risk aversion, in terms of the general fear for the double dip that everybody sees and all around, you begin to find out that certain things really don't work out the way we expect them initially. I mean, so when those things, when there seem to be some slight deviation in what is expected and what's on ground, we won't look at it in isolation. We have to look at the complete picture.
Reading an article in This Day from the 21st of September 2011, so in the last few days, some experts who've been solicited their views are suggesting that actually what we're starting to see is a devaluation of the naira, a deliberate strategy by the CBN to do that. How has the governor responded, and what do you make of this idea that maybe Nigeria is now starting to move into the area of a floating exchange rate?
Yeah, that it's at this point it's something that you could say 50-50 because every at both sides of the camp, people will come up with their argument. I mean, reading of the report on the news platform, the governor actually said that there's been no change in the naira policy, so we expect the plus or minus 3% band to continue. That was just a few days back, and we do not think that has significantly changed now. I mean, based on what the governor has said. If you look at all the factors that might come into play at this point in time, and we want to look at also, like I would go back to my initial response, price stability. I think the governor is looking at that. I think the central bank is looking at that, and I think they want to maintain some form of price stability. If the price stability becomes a new base rate of 157, 158, I mean, to a large extent, what the price stability that the MPC and the governors are looking at have largely been achieved, and on the back of that, I would continue to ride.